You're listening to Left at the Valley 2.0.
Hi, I'm Steve Grumbine. I'm the host of Macro and Cheese and the new Untouchables, and I took a left at the Valley.
I know we shouldn't have to scream that we're atheists. You know, we don't have non-astrologers and all that. But with religious people taking over the world, I mean, we can either speak up or be pushed into a corner.
I'm proud to be an atheist, a skeptic, a non-believer, an infidel, a heathen. I call it how I see it. I say it's ignorance and you just call it faith and unsubstantiated claims. That's something to be ashamed. I'm an atheist.
Coming at you from Burning, BC, Alligator, Florida, and Coat Hanger, Texas, this is Left of the Valley 2.0. My name is Kevin, and I don't mean to denigrate people who believe in God. And for those believers, denigrate means to put down. Joining me as usual is a team that can't imagine a God creating 100 billion galaxies, but is really mad about dildos. She wonders why Christians celebrate Christmas if they believe life begins at conception. Sabrina, that's a good question, man.
Very good question.
Yeah, that's deep.
And he's gonna summon Candyman, Bloody Mary, and Beetlejuice, and let him fight Brett Lee.
Hey, yeah. Beetlejuice is probably the coolest. I'm just saying.
Yeah, definitely.
And he ate a clock yesterday. It was very time consuming. Benjamin.
Yeah, I'm always hungry.
Guys, welcome back.
It's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
And this show is brought to you by our patron. And this week is brought to you by the Right to Reason podcast. Check him out. Great podcast. Got nothing good things to say about Robert.
Nothing good?
No, nothing but good things to say.
Got nothing good to say about him.
Nothing good to say about Robert. But his podcast.
I like Robert.
We love Robert.
Some people come on his show that are pretty cool, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And today we'll be talking to Dr. Todd Frank Miller about critical thinking. That's in the second half of the show. But first, let's do our usual chit chat. All right, guys, got to have you here. In the news, do you guys see there's a new religion that's about to start?
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
It's about to start?
It's yeah, sort of.
So they're launching it, looking for members?
Because the Matrix reboot. I knew it. I knew that would start a religion. I knew it.
In Italy, there's an aquarium, and the staff were surprised to see the birth of a baby shark in a tank with only 2 females. Yep.
Okay,
So
you
you
just wait. Press pause first of all.
No.
Yes, because I have something to say. Really important.
It's very extremely important.
I have never once heard that song until you forced that on me. I have actually fully managed to avoid that song 1,000%, and now it's wrecked.
Let's do it again.
And it's stuck in your head. and all the listeners' heads as well.
Yeah. So
Good
apparently,
luck, y'all getting that out.
this is a smooth hound shark, and there was a tank with only 2 female sharks. And one of them is the mother, I guess, has been there for that shark tank for 10 years. And all of a sudden, she gave birth to a pup. So we have the Immaculate Shark Conception or something.
Are we sure they're just not wrong and one of them was a dude?
That's what I first thought, but no, they actually confirmed this was only 2 female. Now, they think this is an unusual reproductive strategy known as parthenogenesis. It usually happens in plants and insects, but it's also been seen in anacondas, Komodo dragons, and rays, and some birds where, there's so much stress, there's only a certain sex in the environment. And, of course, it
I mean, it's a Jurassic Park. I mean, it's going to happen. Jurassic Park is real, all right?
No, we're like I've heard that before, where frogs can like change sexes and
in a
become
single sex environment. Yeah,
and then become male, and then
life finds a way.
Hopefully this doesn't happen to humans in Texas.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
it's important to point out that this shark pup is not an identical clone to the mother, but he does have at least half the genetic material. And usually these sharks, these babies, when they're usually born not genetically as tough as a regular pup or a regular, progeny, right?
Yeah,
it makes sense. It's born under duress, right? I mean, it's born under a stressful, genetic situation there. You're right.
It survived, absolutely. The shark, they named it Espera, which is means hope. You know, so,
So they're going to start worshiping the shark, is what you're saying.
I don't know about that, but I wouldn't be surprised. It'd be a little shark cult somewhere.
The
Right?
sharks will start worshiping this shark.
That's right. The other sharks are going to start worshiping that little
So
shark.
there's going to be shark church.
That
Right.
shark is going to walk on water instead of swimming in the water.
That's where they all go to that one spot in the Arctic. You know how they all congregate there once a year.
Yeah.
Here's my question, though. How do you nail a shark to a cross?
Very odd shaped cross.
Everybody's going to start wearing a big fish hook around their neck.
Yes, instead of the cross.
Instead
There
of a
won't be a
cross.
cross anymore.
That shark is going to transform wine into water. Do it the other way around.
It's just some contraption that like makes them swim backwards, and they just fucking that's what their cross is.
Oh,
Poor little
that's
shark.
fantastic.
Well, in other animal news, you know, if somebody says it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and sounds like a duck, chances are it's a duck. But in Australia, there's a musk duck that was called Ripper, has performed the first waterfowl sound imitation ever recorded.
What?
The duck actually kind of spoke.
Okay.
Usually, you know, some birds have been known to imitate sound, like parrots, especially.
Mhm.
Usually, some songbirds and some parrots will actually imitate human speech. But this duck actually said something that sounded very much like "you bloody fool." So I don't have the sound clip. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to pull it off. But yeah, so this is
Maybe I can find that and I'll drop it in.
So this is the first example of a duck capable of vocal learning, which is they never.
Duck learning how to talk.
Yeah, so this duck is talking back to you and not telling you to duck off.
Dude,
Hey, I
telling you.
changed my autocorrect. It doesn't say that no more.
Howard the Duck is like part of a prophecy. I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just throwing that out.
Oh my
I wanna-
God,
Precursor to
you're
Howard the
right.
Duck.
So do we get him
The
a
Marvel
suit?
universe is happening.
Do we buy him a suit now or later?
With a drink or something.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
So interesting times we're living in. They've
Yeah.
never really seen this in a waterfowl animal, a bird. So
Sorry, was this bird in captivity?
yeah,
Okay.
and of course it was dealing with trainers every day, and I guess he just heard this is in Australia, right? So he just heard "you bloody fool" so often that eventually
That
he
it
just
learned
said
how
it.
to say
He
it.
just learned to say it. So
Oh my
Yeah.
pretty much the
goodness.
same way a parrot
And-
would.
Apparently, he does other things too. Like he'll imitate door knocks and stuff like that to fuck
Yeah,
with it.
exactly.
I swear, it's like birds just want to see us like confused.
It's
You know?
working.
They'll like do a door knock thing, and they're like, "What the fuck? I don't. There's
Brent.
nobody there."
Birds aren't real.
Right,
That's
that's what I
right.
was just thinking. It's like this
Oh.
is like reinforcing this birds aren't real, but we really don't believe that. That's
No,
not
yeah.
disclaimer here. That was sarcasm.
That is a conspiracy theory. I never thought I would see it on my
I know. I
dying
can't
day.
believe that it's
people actually
around.
there's some
but
people out there that actually believe that birds are not real.
I know.
No,
that's
wow.
They're all
hilarious.
probed and
I don't know if they actually think. I think the dude's fucking with everybody. He's
Oh, I
Andy Kaufman.
I think the original one is, but I think there's some that just, like buy right into it.
I'm
There's so
gonna
many
say
gullible
right now,
people
I
out
think
there.
that the birds are not real is actually propagated by a bird itself. Like Brent
Yes!
said, birds are
Oh,
and the birds are basically
it's
saying
that
no.
mockingbird that's just
Right.
like,
Yeah.
The mock-
we gotta
yeah.
figure something out.
well, you know how crows are. Like they're smart little buggers. So you don't piss off one crow because generations
So
later, its sisters and brothers and sons and daughters and grandchildren, they're coming to get you.
When I was homeschooled, like I didn't get bullied by regular bullies, you know.
No,
Like I
just
got bullied
crows.
by crows.
I-
Okay?
yeah,
Those
I know.
fuckers,
Uh-huh.
they just attack you on your bike when you're just driving through.
Oh,
Anyway,
so
I'm
what
gonna
what
get
you're
into it.
telling me is someone
Dramatic.
gave the wrong crow a laptop.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
and he figured
And he's
out.
like, birdsaren'treal.com, haha, screw you, human.
What we're saying is Alfred Hitchcock with the birds was onto something. They're coming after us.
Yes,
Birds
yeah.
are coming after us. You heard it here first.
Oh man.
And of
Because
course,
of my bullying, that movie, The Birds, is the most terrifying movie I've ever seen. It's a childhood trauma. Because-
it's an amazing actually. It's an amazing movie to make it such a terrifying movie about birds.
Right?
Essentially, it's a tour de force when you think about it. You know.
the half of the movie where the birds are there. Yeah.
Exactly. And of course, we have to talk about this was the 20th anniversary of 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah. 9/11 is one of those moments that every generation, they say, has that one moment in time where they always will remember where they were when this happened. And for our generation, Generation X and lower, I guess this really is that event. I mean, there were some events before, like the Challenger explosion, stuff like that, but 9/11 really fused in our mind. And
Yeah.
I would highly recommend. There's a whole bunch of great documentaries.
If you can handle it.
if you can handle it, that have come out on Netflix and Disney Plus and Crave and all these channels. And really,
I love how you say Crave. Sorry, that's a Canadian thing.
we do
Hulu.
have some Canadians.
Oh, we
around.
got Crave. Yeah, no, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got access.
Okay, but
Streaming.
never forget that Donald Trump used 9/11 as an opportunity to brag that his building was now the tallest.
Oh God,
what a
I
piece
don't
of
even
shit.
want.
That
So mad.
that one statement just says everything you need to know about it.
And not just that,
It's everything you need to know about.
Nothing in reality
Simple.
matters except me.
yeah. Yesterday, being that yesterday was 9/11, we record on Sundays. Is he released a video of him talking about something totally irrelevant again?
Yeah, he
on
start congratulating.
flipping 9/11.
Start congratulating the firefighters and all that, and then start going off about
Whatever it is he wanted to go off about.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he's
These
just a
usual crap.
narcissistic, self-absorbed piece of crap. And if you guys elect him again, I swear to God, I'm gonna be like,
We're declaring war on the
We're not gonna elect him. Us. We're
No, I
Yeah,
know.
he didn't even show his face at the 9/11 memorial thing too.
Oh God. Yeah.
Like all the former living presidents showed up except for Trump.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
that's no
Because
surprise.
he's give a fuck.
Here's a couple of facts about 9/11. in case
And-
you know.
And he has like very lucrative businesses in the place that actually attacked us. But it's a whole thing.
Yeah, let's not talk about
So
that, right?
here's a few facts about 9/11 you might not know. Actually, the estimated total was 2,977 people died that day. Over 6,000 people were injured. There was 265 people of these deaths. 265 of these people died on 4 of the planes that crashed all over the place. 2,606 at the World Trade Center. 125 people at the Pentagon. 344 firefighters also died in the effort in the rescue, and 71 police officers as well, or law enforcement officers. 90 countries lost citizens that day that were involved in some way or another at the World Trade Center.
I didn't realize it was that high.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't just like
the
Canadians
world.
and Americans. No. 90
Well,
countries.
I knew, of course, it was the world, but wow, 90.
So
World Trade, yeah.
I guess I'll ask you a simple question here. Do you remember?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Where were you? Tell us. Tell our audience.
Oh, I was just at work. No big crazy story.
You were at work?
Yeah, I was just at work. Found out when everyone was like, "What is even happening?"
Yeah, I guess everything just stopped
Are
right
you-
there.
Are you?
Yeah.
So you must be a little bit older than me. I remember I was in I was in school,
Mhm.
but I was homeschooled. So I remember very
You were at home.
distinctly. I was on my belly, in my room, with a book
What kind of
open.
school were you going to?
Or you could lay on your
Looking at it. Well, like you watch TV while you're like, that
Yeah.
I didn't have a TV in my room, but like I was just, like doing school
Yeah.
on the floor on my belly,
Yeah.
and then that's where I was. Was what I was
So you weren't
getting
with
at.
the president while he was reading because he was in Florida
pet
that
goat.
day.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I wasn't in that class. They didn't,
They
there was
didn't
a
let
whole-
you go there.
yeah, they said I was too old or weird looking or something. I don't know. It's the whole thing, but.
Wow.
And I wanted to hear about that dog, but anyway.
My daughter was 3 weeks old, so I was sleeping and I was living with my parents at the time, and my mom came and woke me up because she watches the news. It was quite early, being that
It
we were
was.
3 hours ahead.
Nice, yeah.
Behind. So she actually came and woke me up just after the second tower hit and said she wanted to hold my daughter, and understandably so. So I then, of course, got up and watched the rest. It was awful.
I was actually, ironically, that day we were. My father was supposed to fly across the country. Now, my dad, if you didn't know, he really loved the Rockies, so he always wanted to fly. It was the first time he was coming across. He was flying to Calgary, and he wanted us to pick him in Calgary and drive through the Rockies all the way to BC. So we left like really early in the morning. which probably as the planes were crashing, right?
Probably,
it was
yeah.
like probably 5 o'clock in the morning here, but it was
little-
like 8 o'clock back east
Yeah.
when pretty much the tragedy was unfolding. And of course, when you're driving through the Rockies, you lose the radio, you lose everything, right? So we're just listening to the tunes. It's only when we stopped at a gas station and my brother filled up his car and he basically got air miles. And somebody told him he got, I don't know, 2 air miles. He said, "Hey, cool, I got enough air miles to fly in the States now." And the attendant says, "Not today, you're not." And then he just turned up the radio, and there it was. On the radio, the tragedy and everything was happening. I said, "Holy shit, really?" So now, of course, all the flights were grounded, but we didn't know. We knew the flights were grounded in the States, but we didn't know they were grounding the flights in Canada as well, which, of course, they did.
Of course, it was world.
So it was a question of, well, we're in the Rockies. What do we do? Do we turn back around, or do we punch through to Calgary, hope he's there?
Wow, it sounds like you live inside of a Coen Brothers movie. Like that's, like that's a scene in a Coen Brothers movie. I'm just saying.
If you think about it, too, back then it was 2001, so cell phones were a thing, a big thing, but not the cell phone of today.
Yeah.
So you could call people, but you weren't using your cell phone for the internet. You weren't using your cell phone to for that kind of stuff. So
it was really shitty. You had to look at all the text, the HTML. Like you had to literally see the HTML. Like it was garbage. You don't want to.
So very true. So we ended up pushing all the way to Calgary just to realize that no, he had been sitting in the airport still, and there's no way he was flying out. So we had to drive back empty essentially, and do it some other time.
Yeah.
We only saw the magnitude of it once we arrived in Calgary and got
I can
access
imagine.
to a television set and all that, and realized, wow, this is pretty intense. So, yeah.
Sorry, I've just gotta go in.
So, so essentially, that's how we remember how 9/11 happened for us, anyway.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I will say real quick, my dad came in and I was laying on my stomach and my dad came in and was like, "Dude, hey, you got to get out here." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "The plane just hit a building." And I was just like, "Okay, I'm like 15 or whatever." I think I was
just gonna ask you how old you were.
I'm like, I don't care. Like, so somebody accidentally flew into a building. Like, I don't, It's like, "No, man, this is serious." And he was trying to get me out there, and I didn't come until he's like, "Man, I think this is serious." And finally I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll come out and I'll see it." And I walked out, and as soon as I came out, the second plane came.
Oh, wow.
I was like, "Oh shit, maybe it wasn't an accident. This wasn't accidental." And I do remember that very, very well.
It's been interesting. We've been watching a couple of the series on 9/11, and we always have these idiots out there that are, proposing that 9/11 was an inside job, blah, blah, blah. It was a demolition and whatever. Mm-hmm. If you actually watch a lot of these documentaries and the footage that is there of that day, and you get into the feeling there, because, the plane hits, you think it's an accident. The first plane hits, wow, it's an accident. It's amazing. The second one hits, it's like, oh, whoa, this is no accident.
Yeah.
And then you realize you hear about a third plane that hits the Pentagon, and then another plane that crashed in the field. How many of these planes are coming?
Yeah.
Right? You have no idea.
Yeah.
And you talk to the fighter pilots who are out there in their planes, that they don't have time to load up their missiles. So their plan is to crash into the plane kamikaze style to stop him from crashing into another building. So it's like, holy crap, what do you do with something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So these people that think that this is a conspiracy of some kind, you're completely ignorant. Just watch some of these videos, because they have all the footage that you never saw on the news. And some of the video, the camera crews that were there, and the footage that never make it to the 6 o'clock news or something like that. And you realize, wow, this is much bigger than you thought it was already.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, Brent, you got another brilliant moment for us?
Oh, fuck, it's my turn. All right.
I'll take you.
Yeah, I got it. It's
Hey, we're a professional.
So this one really makes me wonder. Okay, so it's about Robin Bullock. Okay.
Oh, him again.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, straight up, anytime I feel like that, I can't help asking this question, that whether or not all I can do is picture him like going to a parking lot in Trader Joe's, and if he finds a parking spot up front, he's like making sure that everybody else in the parking lot knows that the reason he got a parking spot up front is because he has magical powers.
Right.
And
And you made him he pulled a handicap spot. That's what he did.
Yeah.
that's what this thing. I feel like I had to preface it with that because otherwise, I don't know.
I could totally see Robin Bullock just put up one of those fake placard on his visor there, that shows a handicap parking spot. You just make a fake one. That's not even really well done.
God prophesied that I was allowed to stop
exactly.
here.
Yeah, I get a God pass.
Yeah.
The Lord's gonna blow your place up if you don't let me just do this. Hurricane's coming. Regular.
So I hear that there's a video. Would you like me to play it?
Yeah, let's do
All
the
right.
let's do the
see
video.
this awful clip here. Oh gosh, here we go. It's another brilliant moment.
I don't know if you know this or not, but Barack Obama was prophetically removed from office.
Uh-oh.
He was removed from office in 2010. A lot of people don't know that, but a prophet removed him with his words in 2010.
Yeah, it's called the election.
And I know Obama listened to him because he quoted him. Obama quoted him, and when he removed him, about 7 months after that, in 2010, he was speaking to a crowd of women, and his presidential seal fell off the front of the
Here's proof.
It just bounced across the floor, and he looked around at his podium and he said, "Did I lose my?" And he just looked back at the.
Oh my God!
Really?
That's it.
He
Did
said,
I
"Oh, well,
lose
you know who I
my
am." He lost his position, and after 2010, he couldn't do anything. He just couldn't do anything.
What?
He controlled all the Congress, everything really, but he couldn't get nothing done. So he just started playing golf and turning gray.
What?
You mean like Trump?
He just started playing. No, but the turning gray part is what kills me. Like, he just started playing golf and turning gray. Like, God stopped keeping him young once he kicked him out.
And that's it. Yeah, that's how it works.
Hold on
Oh
a second. Let me get this straight.
Prophets get to decide.
Does this moron think that just because the presidential seal, which was probably held there with a piece of scotch tape or whatever, fell off the podium, right? Because it's just a little prop.
Yeah.
That somehow that was a miracle sign from God that
Yes.
he lost his presidency?
Yes,
And that he lost his power. So like,
No. Yeah.
because it happened right when he lost his place.
Yeah,
well,
because
it's
then
when
after that,
when
the
everybody
Republicans
lockstep stopped him from being able to do anything. And so oh man, that fell off, and then he wasn't able to, because Mitch McConnell, and that's all I really got to say about that.
But he's also using the words, "Did I just lose that?" and then stop. But that's proof that he knew at that point that he had lost all power.
He just lost his.
That's just so hilarious because that's just a great joke to make at the time. I would have made the same joke myself. Obama was known for making dad jokes anyway, so I would have made the same joke myself. And all of a sudden, they see this as a sign of the divine.
Yes,
I totally knocked that sign off. I did it on purpose when I was
Hey,
playing. And it totally fell off. And then I was like, "Thank you, Lord."
We all know that Jello-headed God knocked it off.
I was talking to the Jello squad.
Power of the Jello.
And then
the power of the Jello knocked off that sign.
Oh yeah, people.
So
Anyway.
So after that, we know that historically, he had the Democrats had the Congress and the Senate, and then the midterm election happened, and then they kind of lost that.
Yeah,
and he thinks that's a sign of God, but he still managed to pass Obamacare.
And
he did nothing.
Didn't he win a second term after that, or is that
He did too.
2010, he was in his second term. Wasn't he?
he was in his second? Okay, my bad.
Yeah, but it was
No, that's
he was
not
referring-
right. When
he was
was-
referring
no.
to 2002 when that sign fell. Wait, was it 2002?
No, I'm sorry. He was in his first term in 2010. He was 2000.
Yeah, right.
How is it that I know U.S. history better than the Americans over here?
Well, I just said I thought he
Same old
won
dude.
a second
You were
term.
right. You were right.
Time is meaningless to us.
Yes, I know. It's all good.
That's absolutely amazing. So if I drop this pen right now or something like that, and I'm just writing in, ooh, I dropped my pen. Well, that must be some kind of sign from God that stop writing notes or something.
Yeah, whatever you're writing needs to stop. God's real mad at it.
That was me because I prayed to the Lord. I told you, if he drops a pen, then he's going to become a Christian, and he's going to make a Christian podcast, and that's what the Lord said. Prophetic, don't you?
So prophetic, so profound, so idiotic. Oh boy! So if everything goes according to God, then I guess Donald Trump being voted out of office was also according to his
God's plan.
It's part of God's plan.
No, that was the devil. Okay?
Oh,
that was the devil that interceded.
But God
And
let
then-
the devil intercede because he needed to test the faith of all of the Republicans.
Yes,
Don't you even try to act like you know the mind of God.
Look, a prophet has read the end of the book, and the end of the book turns out good.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
You laugh, but what we do right now, it would be silly enough to be believed in
I know.
these idiotic cults.
Yeah, that argument that I just made would work. Like
You
you're
would work,
yeah,
exactly.
wow.
Nobody
you
stops to
dare.
think, does this make sense? Like, it just takes a couple seconds. To,
It makes sense to them in what they want to believe, and
That's-
that's how we function as humans.
confirmation
What they want
bias.
to believe doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
Yeah, confirmation bias is everything. I always refer to it as red lighting because when you get stopped at one where you're driving, say you drive to work the same way every day,
Yeah.
right? And you get stopped at a red light often. You don't remember all the times you drive through. Your brain doesn't do that. You only remember the times you stop. And you're like, I'm always stuck at this red light. So I
Yeah.
just call it red lighting. I was like, oh, you're red lighting. Calm down.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Sense.
That's a good way to say it. Yeah, I like that.
Oh God.
That's solid.
Anyways,
Perfect. So let's take
That's
a quick
great.
break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to Dr. Todd Frank Miller. We'll be talking about his book on.
did you lose the name?
I just lost the name.
Critical
Critical thinking, but I lost the name of the book. Hold on a second, I got it here somewhere.
It's called The Final Pattern,
Thank
The
you, The Final
Critical
Pattern.
Need for
For critical
Critical
thinking.
Thinking.
Is it like critical care, like when you're in the ICU?
No, just Ben. Can you just?
No,
It's
but-
actually using your brain, like what we were just talking about.
Well, you know what? It is a critical need.
Nonsense.
Say that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so stay with us.